This truck is a creation of German engineering, or rather East German during the German Democratic Republic. And the name of this truck consisted of 3 Latin letters of the abbreviation, which did not denote the name of the factory where the car was manufactured, but was read as the Industrial Association of Automobile Manufacturers of the GDR, abbreviated IFA, a kind of ministry on the basis of whose factories the construction of this main truck of the GDR era was carried out. IFA W50. To begin our story, let's go back in time to 1962 in the city of Werdau, GDR. It was then that the testing of the first prototypes of the truck with a carrying capacity of 5.2 tons, with a 2-seater cabin above the engine, equipped with a 4-cylinder engine with a capacity of 90 horsepower. Later, the power was increased to 110 horses. The all-wheel drive version of the car was also tested. Due to the lack of production capacity of the automobile plant in the city of Werdau, production was transferred to the city of Ludwigsfeld, near Berlin, where in 1965, mass production of the IFA W50L truck began. We already know that IFA is an abbreviation that reads as the Industrial Association of GDR Automobile Manufacturers. The W in the name denotes the city of Werdau, where the truck began its journey. The number 50 denotes the carrying capacity in quintals, 50 quintals, or 5 tons. The letter L indicates the city of Ludwigsfeld, where production was carried out. Since its release, the W50 has become extremely popular in the GDR and in the countries of the socialist camp. It was also supplied to the countries of Africa, South America, and Asia. Over 25 years of production, more than 500,000 cars were built in 60 different modifications: military, fire, construction, and many other special vehicles. There was no sector of the East German economy where this truck was not used. There were also all-wheel drive tractors and trucks with an extended base. Various superstructures were installed on the IFI platform: 2-row cabins, mobile workshops, isothermal vans. The car was built on 2 bases: a short 3 meters, 20 centimeters, and an extended one, 3 meters, 70 centimeters. Cars that were used in the USSR most often had all-wheel drive. Truck cranes with a total lifting capacity of 10 tons were installed on the W50L base. The first batch of cars in the amount of 4,000 pieces arrived in the Soviet Union in 1971. Further deliveries of this car will continue until 1987. In 1985, there were already 40,000 of these cars on the territory of the USSR. But almost all of them will be limited to only 2 basic versions: the W50L flatbed truck, which could be equipped with an additional trailer, and the W50LK dump truck, which had a 3-position unloading option. Early cars were equipped with a 4-cylinder, 110 horsepower engine from the previous S4000 model. Since 1967, its modernized version with a capacity of 125 horsepower, a volume of 6.5 liters, with a direct fuel injection system obtained under license from the West German company MAN, has been installed. The engine also had a special system that allowed only 2 cylinders to be used when operating at low speeds. The car consumed about 17 liters of fuel per 100 kilometers. The IFI 5-speed gearbox with synchronizers on 4 higher gears. It was located in the car separately from the engine block, which facilitated repair and replacement. The car's suspension is dependent spring type. A feature of the main gear of the rear drive axle is the semi-axles, which are located outside the beam, as well as additional gearboxes in the wheel arches, which allowed to reduce the main gear reducer and increase the ground clearance to 30 centimeters. The car's brake system is drum with a hydraulic drive and a pneumatic brake pedal booster. It has 2 separate circuits for the front and rear wheels. Also, an additional braking element is a special damper which is located in the exhaust system between the exhaust manifold and the muffler and is controlled by the gas pedal. This system allows for additional engine braking when driving on ice or on mountain serpentines. The car's cabin is all-metal two-seater with good visibility, which was made possible by the absence of a hood. The driver's seat is adjustable, a stove and a ventilation hatch were installed in the cabin. The ergonomic arrangement of all control elements created quite comfortable working conditions for the driver. The overall dimensions of the car were as follows. Length, 6 meters 53 centimeters. Width, 2 meters 50 centimeters. Height, 2 meters 60 centimeters. The mass of the car was 4 tons 600 kilograms. Maximum acceleration speed, 80 kilometers per hour. Compared to Soviet cars of a similar class, such as Gaz-53, ZIL-130, IFA W50EL had a higher level of comfort, lower fuel consumption with almost the same carrying capacity. But with all the great advantages, many drivers complained about certain inconveniences when operating these cars. Due to the inability to tilt the cabin, access to the engine was through the engine compartment hatch, which was located in the cabin between the passenger and driver seats, which complicated repairs. And during major repairs, the engine was removed through the front cover with a radiator grille. Also, the engine did not warm up well in harsh winters. And some drivers who were particularly critical of the IFA called it revenge for Stalingrad. In the mid-80s, the car was considered morally obsolete. And this is quite understandable, because for the entire time of production, it underwent only 2 changes. In 1969, when a new parking brake was installed, and in 1973, the installation of a new steering mechanism. That is why, in 1987, a new all-wheel drive model of the IFA 60 was developed, which was basically the same W50, only with a few changes. A new 6-cylinder engine with a volume of 9,160 cubic centimeters and a capacity of 180 horsepower. A new folding 3-seater cabin, which was manufactured under license from Volvo. But 3 years later, after the fall of the Berlin Wall and the reunification of Germany, the factory in Ludwigsfeld was transferred to its former owner, Daimler-Benz. For some time, the new owners will try to update the L60 model. There were even attempts to install a cab from the Mercedes-Benz L N2 truck family on it, but the attempts did not have any particular success, and by the mid-90s, the company switched to producing its own models. Thus ended the era of the main truck of socialist Schied Germany, which disappeared into oblivion along with the Berlin Wall and the entire socialist camp. Due to the lack of parts, the number of these cars on the roads of the former Soviet republics is heading towards 0. And those that remain are a real living testimony to the era of developed socialism in Germany.